back, Living Hope. Day 1 of Slow Your Soul is in the books. This is an exciting time. We are here. We're your guides on this journey with Jesus, and we have the author and our lead pastor with us to answer all things Slow Your Soul. And I brought my good friend, Pastor Marcus, our Citizens Youth Pastor, and you have several years of starving under your belt as well, so he's kind of an expert on all things fasting. So we are going to talk about day 1 because we want to answer all your questions and we want to get you through all 21 days. So as you noticed, we start out in the evening, morning, first day. And so we're just going to talk for a minute about what this evening time with Jesus looks like. So Pastor Jess, would you tell us what you picture for each one of us as we enter this evening time with Jesus?
Well, I really wrote this so you could do this. So let me just read the first paragraph or a little sentence here. The young man who thought his father, an old buffoon, demanded some squandering capital so he could tromp off to a Vegas-like destination and self-discover. I tried to write this, particularly if you had children in junior high and high school. You could actually sit around in your living room and dad or mom, whoever's the best reader, both, could read the evening to them.
Oh,
I wrote it so you could do that.
I love that.
Now, you don't have to do that, but some people would say, well, I envision myself sitting in bed reading it. Great, if you don't fall asleep, that would be fine. I think it's important to have a spot that you do your devotions from. So if you're not going to do this maybe with family, maybe you go to your spot. Or maybe if you're married, you and your wife read it together, and so maybe you find a spot. There's something about cyclic things. Like when I sit down in my office, in my chair, and I'm facing a certain way, that's my devotional posture. Just like it's like a rut I'm into. And so right now I'm listening to Jesus differently than when I study, because now I'm up on my Logos, my computer's in a different position, I'm studying, I'm trying to learn things, I'm trying to process things that are difficult and make them simple for people to understand. When I'm in devotions, Jesus is trying to process difficult things and help me understand what he's saying. Different things. So I think getting your body line. So I think there's several things you could do with the meditation, but I wrote it so hopefully parents, and maybe if I were going to read this to you, I would have read it and then try to put some punch into it when I read it to you. So a lot of it is story. I think you could do with family. It's not too long. I think you can have it read in 4.5 minutes, wouldn't you think, at the most, out loud?
So to clarify then, you see the morning time being people doing that on their own, but the evening time, you see that being husbands and wives, if you have kids involved. I love this, by the way. So the dad, let's say dad or mom just read the evening meditation, and then you get to the end and you talk about these evening mumblings, which I love. How do you picture that? Do you picture everyone they're gathered in their family room or living room, or maybe even at the dining room table, and do you picture an out loud mumbling? Do you picture this kind of moment of silence where they just kind of repeat the words over inside their mind? How do you picture this?
I picture this in bed.
Okay.
In bed, my head's on my pillow.
Okay.
Jesus, you have found me once again. Jesus,
beautiful.
You have found me once again. And you let that mumbling just go through you, and probably you find not only did he find you once again, he found you in many different places.
Beautiful.
Beings explode in your spirit.
Beautiful.
So I see that happening in bed.
So, and again, we're really wanting to equip our moms and dads to help their kids do this. So you're in the family room, you've just had your reading, it's beautiful, and then the mom or dad closes and they read this part, Jesus, you found me once again. And then they say, okay kids, this is what we're gonna do tonight. When your head is on the pillow after we've said our evening prayers, I want you just in the silence of that moment to just start whispering to Jesus, Jesus, you have found me once again. And then the dad would say to the wife, I want you to do this. So everyone knows that when they're in bed, they're going there, and maybe give your kid that prompt right before you leave them in the room.
Here's how I view, because every night has one of these mumblings. So my view of this thing is you'd be laying your head on bed, it's all dark, and you're saying, Jesus, you found me once again. That's the light that turns on that sees you through to the morning. So all night long, that light is governing you into the morning.
It's beautiful.
Now let me ask you this, Pastor Jess, because many people, maybe like me, they go home, long day, stressful work or whatever. And not me, because I work in the church.
Yeah,
We don't have
right.
stress.
There's zero stress here.
Church workers, it's all beautiful. It's all great. You know, you like to get home and just turn the TV on and just, you know, watch your favorite series, go on YouTube, whatever it is. So are you telling us that it might be better for us to find rest in Jesus than on TV?
Yeah, I'm not saying that comes a point where we try to turn off all the media. We don't do that right away. So maybe you come home and you know, like possibly should cut off the news, because the news creates angst and anger. That's its whole purpose is that. But if you're gonna watch a show, make sure it's wholesome, but don't be watching it right up to the time you go to bed. Take an hour or so before you go to bed and do something else that is not on a screen, and then let this kind of be the last thing you do. So you're kind of easing into the night. So partly what you want to do is you would like to make a habit of going to bed right. Going to bed right is mumbling yourself to sleep. That's the Hebrew word for meditation. Mumble yourself to sleep. So I'm trying to help people do what Jesus did when he laid down at night and went to bed. He mumbled himself to sleep. He talked to the Father as he would fall asleep.
That's beautiful. I love the variety in this versus starving, which was so life-changing, but you really brought something brand new to us, Pastor Jess, so thank you for that. So just an encouragement, moms and dads, it doesn't matter how old or how little your kids are, invite them in at night, read these pages to them, and then let the whole family mumble, mutter, meditate this phrase, Jesus, you have found me once again, and watch how God dispels the darkness for the entire family and home and brings his glorious light. We love you, and we'll see you in the morning.